All right, well, good morning, Federated. This is Pastor Mark. As you may notice, I am not at Federated this morning. I'm actually at Walnut Creek Downtown Church here in Des Moines, meeting with a couple of our breakout speakers for our Spring Bible Conference here, just slated to be at the end of the month here in a few weeks. And I want to introduce you to those guys ahead of this conference. So I want to introduce you to number one, Jake Bennett.
Hi there, Jacob Bennett.
And Eric Smejenow.
That's right.
Gosh, I got it. Okay, I'm excited about that.
Smejenow, just call him Smejenow.
So anyway, Jake and I, I'll tell you more at the conference. Jake and I go way, way back to when we both had hair, a long time ago, as when he was an undergraduate and I was a volunteer at Drake University, but we'll get into that the day of the conference. But Jake, your role, and so your breakout is really centered toward college students, and you guys have a unique perspective on that based upon what you do in ministry here. And so Jake, you're the executive director of Campus Fellowship. Tell us what that's about.
Yeah, so Campus Fellowship, our motto is we are for Christ, for His church, for campus, and for culture. And as a network, as a nonprofit, we focus on equipping churches to both implement and sustain dynamic college ministries whose students worship God and change the world. It was really born out of a ministry at our church that naturally, organically grew through relationships, and we wanted to figure out how we could help more churches reach more college students.
Awesome. So, and Eric, your role with Campus, I think newish role, Campus Fellowship, Director of Growth for them. And so you and I talked when we first met, right? You and I were huge beneficiaries of what we call parachurch campus ministries while we were undergraduates in college. So for me, it was the Navigators ministry and some local ministries at the University of Northern Iowa. I think you said you were at Kansas State with some similar ministries. And so talk to us about Campus Fellowship exists not necessarily to compete with or current parachurch ministries, but you have a heart for what is the local church's role in reaching college campuses. Talk to us about that and about your role in that.
I believe parachurch ministry has been a huge blessing, like you said, in my life. But the church is, I believe, the vessel that God wants to use to take the gospel forth. And I think God wants to use the church as His arm to take the gospel to campus. So what Jake and I are really passionate about is helping both for the short term and the long term of college students' lives of integrating the church and the college ministry world. So what does it look like to be a college-facing or a campus-facing church, but still be church-based? Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help churches to understand what that looks like, because there's kind of two gaps there. There's a gap between the church-based world and the parachurch world. Yeah. And we want to marry those two together to have a really campus-focused and church-based approach.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about that at the conference as we introduce you guys more. But I think it's refreshing that you guys are actually part of church planting efforts that are looking to plant churches in campus-facing communities, right? And historically, at least in the last probably 50 years, that's been a bit of a novelty in the U.S. because how do we reach these college kids? They don't have any money, so all those sort of things. And so
it's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love, not necessarily the easiest place to plant the church. The kingdom benefits are manifold. We'll get into that as we approach campus. So, Jake, now, it's been, I think, about 25 years since you and I were undergrads, or I was a new alum, and met you as an undergrad. Talk to us, because you guys are campus-facing in the churches you serve. Describe today's college student you're trying to reach. In the past 25 years, how have they changed? In what ways is today's college student generation open to the gospel? What are their turnoffs to the gospel? Give us a little commentary about that.
Yeah. I think in large part, campus ministry itself hasn't changed structure. Like, it is evangelism, it is one-on-one discipleship. But the people have changed, like you talked about. Like, today's generation is just a different generation, asking different questions, coming to faith, just asking different questions of it. I remember when I was a college student, people in my generation were very focused on doing something significant with their life. And I feel like in today's generation, the question that people are coming to college with is not what can I do that's going to be significant with my life, but who can I be that's going to be significant. And there's probably, everyone kind of falls on a spectrum of like, what are they most searching for in life. But I feel like today's generation are asking a lot of questions about identity that our generation probably asked, but it wasn't as high on the importance level.
Yeah, and I just add to that. I think every student today is asking, "Who am I?"
Mm-hmm.
I think they're also asking. They're searching for meaning. What's my purpose?
Yeah.
And I think they're asking also, where do I fit in?
Yeah. Well, we all are
Yes,
at some level, no matter what your age. But
those are the questions, and the gospel answers all three of them.
Absolutely. So well, that's a great segue to my final question for you guys today. So we've asked you to come speak at a breakout session specifically targeted to our college students. We have the joy of having 80 to 100 to 120 Central College students that attend our church Sunday in, Sunday out. And so as you prepare to come and speak to them, I believe the title of the topic, or the title of your talk that you said you were going to share with them, is The Commandment and the Commission on a College Campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blow that out a little bit. What do you mean by that? And as a teaser, what can we expect to hear from you guys at the end of February?
Yeah. So we want to really hone in on the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. The Great Commandment to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength, love your neighbor as yourself, and the second is like it, is something we're going to be doing for all eternity. For all eternity, we're going to be loving God, and we're going to be loving one another. And so that's what I'm going to kind of zero in on. And just, we see there's horizontal and vertical components, illustrations of the vine and the branches come to mind with this. And really, it's really important because this way of working our relationship with God, with our relationship with others, is so significant on the college campus because college students are in intense personal friendship relationships in ways that they will never be once they move on. You won't be having roommates your entire life who are of the same gender, that you can just always go get dinner with, go get lunch with, and you're just living your life so intensely together. But what that means is that you need to really learn, how do I love other people from godly motives rather than fleshly motives in college and then for the long run. So I'm going to kind of hone in on the Great Commandment, and then Eric's going to focus on the Commission.
Yeah, the Great Commission. Matthew 28, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, right? So what we want to do is we want to bridge from the Great Commandment and see the relationship that has with the Great Commission that Jesus has given us. And how do we do that? How do we do that on the college campus? What does that look like for the rest of life? And how do I do it in a healthy way that doesn't turn into legalism?
Yeah.
Or
we want that to be a winsome thing that we do as Christians, right?
Yeah.
So for sure. Well, thank you to both of you guys. I'm looking forward to the session. And so I want to, just as a reminder for our Federated Church body, specifically our Central College attendees, this breakout session is for you. And so we invite you to sign up for our annual Spring Bible Conference, February 27th to 28th. These guys will be speaking at a breakout session just after lunch on Saturday the 28th. College students, registrations are discounted for you, and there's an opportunity, if you serve in our child care the day of the conference, for a free registration. And so check out the website for all that information. But we look forward to seeing all of you there.